In a move that has sent ripples across the international stage, the BRICS group has once again expanded, signaling a profound shift in the global balance of power. Not just new flags joining a distant club, this now directly involves the European Union. Two of its own members, or at least one member and one long-standing candidate, are actively looking eastward: Hungary, Turkey. This forces fundamental questions about the future of traditional alliances and the pull of new global centers of influence. The story is one of growing impatience and strategic calculation. For decades, Turkey has stood at the gates of the EU, a journey fraught with delays and political hurdles. Now Ankara is signaling its patience has limits. Hungary, under Viktor Orban, and Turkey are testing a new course. This flirtation happens against BRICS's ambitious growth. The implications reach into trade, finance, and the identity of the EU. So what exactly is this BRICS group that is causing such a stir? The acronym itself stands for the founding members: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It was originally coined in 2001 by an economist at Goldman Sachs to highlight the rising economic potential of these emerging markets. For years it was little more than an investment concept, but leaders saw a chance to turn the idea into a political and economic forum. They began holding formal summits in 2009, transforming BRICS from a catchy acronym into a tangible bloc, representing the interests of the developing world, providing an alternative to Western-dominated institutions: World Bank, International Monetary Fund. At its core, BRICS is about collaboration and influence. Members work together on a wide range of issues, promoting trade, investment among themselves, and coordinating positions on major global challenges. One major achievement: the new development bank, the BRICS Bank, established in 2014. Turkey's story with the European Union is a long and often frustrating saga of hope, negotiation, and stalemate. The country first applied to join what was then the European Economic Community way back in 1987. For decades, the prospect of EU membership was the driving force behind many of Turkey's domestic reforms, as Ankara worked to align its laws, economy, and political systems with European standards. This ambition was seen as the natural culmination of Turkey's long-standing orientation toward the West. The promise was one of full integration into the European family, with all the economic and political benefits that would entail. However, the path to membership proved to be far more arduous than anticipated. Negotiations officially began in 2005, but they quickly ran into a series of roadblocks. Issues such as human rights concerns, disputes over Cyprus, and resistance from several key EU member states slowed the process to a crawl. Over the years, the goalposts seemed to shift continually, leaving Turkish leaders and the public feeling that their efforts were not being genuinely reciprocated. As Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan explained, "While Turkey has made its interest in joining BRICS abundantly clear, the path to membership is not as straightforward as Ankara might have hoped. The initial enthusiasm surrounding its application, which would have made Turkey the first NATO member to join the bloc, was met with a more complex reality. Behind the scenes, the existing BRICS members were not uniformly receptive to the idea. Diplomatic sources revealed that Turkey's bid for full membership faced significant reservations from some of the group's most powerful players. This hesitation serves as a reminder that BRICS has its own internal politics and strategic considerations that can create hurdles for prospective members. The primary opposition reportedly came from two of the bloc's founding giants, China and India. Both nations expressed reservations, effectively blocking Ankara's immediate path to full accession last year. While the specific reasons were not made public, analysts point to a range of potential factors: geopolitical alignments, economic competition, concerns about admitting a country with deep-rooted ties to the West through its NATO membership. India, in particular, was identified as the chief opponent. This setback does not mean the door is permanently closed for Turkey. Within the European Union, Hungary stands out for its controversial foreign policy. Under Prime Minister Viktor Orban, Budapest has carved its own path, frequently clashing with Brussels. Issues range from democratic norms to foreign relations. Hungary's independent streak shows in its pivot toward the east, growing closer to BRICS, China, Russia. While other EU members present a united front, Hungary says it pursues a pragmatic foreign policy, building strong economic ties and courting Chinese investment, hosting Chinese manufacturing and tech, and energy ties with Russia despite EU sanctions. Other EU states and the United States criticize this, fearing undermined Western unity. Budapest calls it national interest, economic collaboration and diplomatic partnerships beyond traditional spheres. The story of Turkey and Hungary's interest in BRICS is unfolding against a backdrop of historic expansion. What began as five has become a much larger, diverse coalition. Between late 2024 and early 2025, a wave of new members and partners joined, dramatically increasing BRICS's global footprint. Countries seeking to amplify their voices and reduce dependence on Washington milestone. Indonesia joined as the 10th full member in January 2025. Indonesia brings economic and demographic weight, largest Southeast Asian economy, and the choice to become a full member signaled confidence. Vietnam joined as a strategic partner in 2025, strengthening BRICS across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Recent partners include Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Nigeria, Thailand, Uganda, and Uzbekistan. This partnership tier enables closer cooperation without full membership commitments. Algeria joined the new development bank and Colombia announced plans to begin accession. BRICS is positioning itself as an inclusive club for the global south, offering a platform for economic development and diplomatic coordination. That expanding horizon makes Turkey and Hungary's interest more significant. The rapid expansion of BRICS, the bloc's growing challenge to the US-led global order, has not gone unnoticed in Washington. The United States has watched with concern and with assertiveness as BRICS explores a common currency that could undermine the US dollar. The American response has become especially pointed following the 2024 election. President-elect Donald Trump has been especially pointed, making his opposition to the BRICS agenda crystal clear. In a move that sent shockwaves through international financial markets, Donald Trump, in a November 2024 post on his Truth Social platform, threatened a 100% tariff on any country that pursued a BRICS currency or moved away from the US dollar. Upon taking office for his second term, he announced this policy on his very first day. This aggressive stance is designed to create a powerful disincentive. That statement may be more political theater than reality, but it signals a clear US strategy to delegitimize the bloc and sow discord. The moves by Turkey and Hungary toward the BRICS bloc are honestly more than just isolated diplomatic maneuvers. Turkey-Hungary BRICS bloc. More than isolated diplomatic maneuvers, they are powerful symptoms of a much larger transformation. We're witnessing the slow erosion of the old certainties that defined the post-Cold War era. The unipolar moment has given way to a more complex and contested multipolar landscape, where new centers of power are rising, and nations are reassessing their traditional allegiances. The decisions made in Ankara and Budapest are a clear signal. The magnetic pull of the West is no longer as absolute as it once was, and the appeal of alternative platforms is growing stronger. For the BRICS group, the interest from Turkey and Hungary is a major symbolic victory. Successfully attracting a NATO member or an EU country would represent a significant geopolitical coup. It shows that the bloc's appeal transcends traditional Cold War-era divides. However, this expansion also brings challenges. The group will have to manage the increasingly diverse interests and alignments of its members to maintain cohesion and effectiveness. Ultimately, we're entering a new chapter in global politics, one defined by fluidity and strategic realignment. Nations are no longer content with being confined to a single camp. Instead, they're pursuing more flexible, multi-aligned foreign policies, building partnerships where they see fit. The story of Turkey, Hungary, and BRICS is a powerful illustration of this new reality.